request all the guests to please be seated. We'll be starting in a minute or two. I could see Dr. Sam Pitroda is eagerly awaiting, and he's live already with us. I will straight away go into the keynote address. Our signature speaker, with great respect, the sir has agreed to give us a view of the market and how technology is changing the shape of life. And we'll straight get into the keynote address right away.
Mr. Arindam Saha of TickerPlant, Dr. Diganta Mukherjee of Indian Statistical Institute, Dr. Paransenjit Majumdar of Dhirubhai Ambani University, distinguished delegates, leaders of the industries, ladies and gentlemen, greetings from Chicago. It is indeed a special privilege for me to have this opportunity to talk to you about analytics in markets. I believe you are all here to interact with each other on this new sort of upcoming field with lots and lots of ideas, hopes, and opportunities related to big data, analytics, machine learning, natural language understanding, processing, chatbots. These are indeed very exciting new ideas that we believe will change everything. Just about 20 years ago, with internet and web, we know how things have changed. It has had far-reaching implications on everything we do, beside commerce, education, health, governance, and mainly financial services. Everything around us is being transformed with new technology, new tools, and new ideas. Lots of innovations are going on, for example, in the field of financial services. When I look at banking business, not too long ago, we started with computerizing back offices, then front offices with tellers, then ATM, and now with mobile payment, we've basically taken banking into the palm of a customer. But that's one side of the opportunity. Other side of the opportunity is that the banking business itself is completely being transformed, because traditionally it was all about saving accounts and then loans to companies and businesses. Then came credit cards. So loans to individuals started increasing. And now we find that with new technology, the entire banking business is going to be transformed so that little fellows could begin to get micro loans. Because most of the young people don't need loans when they are young. They need to build homes. It's like any other banks in the past. When you need loans, you can't get. And those who get it, get in large quantities. In India, we still have a long way to go in terms of transforming our banking practices. We may have technology, but we still have serious operational issues based on legacy. A lot of this new technology breaks legacy systems. But these technologies require open mind, democratization of information, rule of law, and room for substantial change. I believe we have a lot of capabilities in these areas, but we won't be able to really benefit from these things unless and until we begin to focus on real reforms, administrative reforms, political reforms, judiciary reforms, labor reforms, financial reforms. These are all very important reforms that we need to really undertake to be able to use analytics in an effective way. I got interested in this just about 4 or 5 years ago. And especially after new government came in, I decided to spend more time in the US. And as a result, I felt it is important to focus on new businesses related to all of these areas that we talked about earlier. So one business I have called Aerial Intelligence, where we take satellite data, process this satellite data for agricultural yield. So we can tell you how much corn will be grown, how much potato will be grown, how much tomato would be grown, where, and what will be the right time to pick. This requires huge amount of machine learning software. Takes years and years to fine-tune algorithms. But once you begin to understand it, then you realize that it plays an important role in risk management, predictions, integrates weather forecasting, distribution, delivery, quality. With big data, you can even detect the quality of fruits and vegetables. When it is shipped, when it is delivered, but all of these things require a huge amount of data crunching. Another business is about taking genetic profile of an individual and customizing medication for diabetes and hypertension. Again, you need huge amount of data from past patients, understand certain patterns, relate those patterns to age, gender, lots of other things, and begin to really harness intelligence. Larger the data, better is the intelligence. And one advantage we have in India and China is that we could have huge amount of data because of our population. If you're a country of 5, 6, 10 million people, you cannot have that kind of rich database to harness a lot of intelligence. Our diversity also plays an important role in making our data very diverse. Third business we have that we are working on is really to provide farmers ability to reach out directly to their customer and ship things right from their farm to the end user. This will allow some point in time middleman to be left out. Again, you need huge amount of data crunch. Closer to what you are doing is another business that we have called DataVal, where three bright young retired army officers came together in India with their experience in big data and security and defense to really use their knowledge for industry, whether it is financial services, e-commerce, government, health, manufacturing. All of these industries require fair amount of intelligence, either to fine-tune their marketing, operation, finance, or to improve productivity and efficiency. This group, based out of Bangalore, has developed something very interesting using Indian talent in the area of natural language processing and natural language understanding. When I started having initial conversations with this group, I realized that India has, because of multiple languages, a very different way to look at text structures. All of the other natural language processing algorithms, including what Siri, Google, and others use, predominantly depend on text, construction of a sentence. While Indian mind looks at more holistic approach to language, it immediately assigns a mind map which may have direction, time, and relationships attached to it. And we thought if we use that Indian language understanding to develop a new algorithm, we could really add substantial value to what has been happening in the Western world. So we spent about 2 years on this, and we were surprised to see the richness of understanding in India on these kinds of things. So we tried to test our algorithm with what is known as the Babi test that Facebook has publicly announced, where you have 20 different tasks, and no one has been able to solve those 20 tasks using natural language processing and understanding. So we took upon ourselves as a challenge to solve these 20 using Indian way of looking at languages. I must tell you, last year in December, we solved all 20 tasks for the first time ever. And we solved it with 100% accuracy because we use the Indian understanding of the languages. The reason I'm telling you this, that we have a gold mine in India because of our diversity in understanding big data, analytics, and all that, if we know how to use it. We are not very compartmentalized in our society. Western mindset is very compartmentalized. In India, it's a continuum. A little kid could be playing with an older person. neighbor, and not just with their age group. And this basic idea of looking at things in a holistic way in India, I believe gives us an edge in this entire field of analytics. Unfortunately, we tend to look to West more often than we should to look for solutions. So we really copy and not create original algorithms of our own. I believe India has a huge opportunity in creating our own algorithms. I think compared to China, our diversity is very different. China and India both has the same numbers, but the diversity adds substantial value to big data, analytics, and all of this. And that's the key point I'd like to make. In financial services, so far people have focused on B2B, little bit B2G. Now, because of payment, mobile payment, there is a lot of opportunities P2P, B2P, P2G, that is people to government. Just take, for example, court cases in India. We have 32 million court cases pending today. It takes about 10 years to get justice. Every court case has new date, gets delayed for 4 or 5 years. And that's where big data and analytics and machine learning, chatbots and natural language processing can play a huge role. If we do it right, you can probably reduce time to justice to 2 to 3 years, maybe even a year. Technology is there, but the mindset is not there to use technology to transform our judiciary, as an example. You could say same thing with police. How police reports are written, how data is analyzed, what kind of intelligence is derived from this data. Every municipality in every city has tons of data. Take Bangalore, or take Delhi, or take Mumbai. How do you take that citizens' data and really begin to improve not only citizen service, but also revenue collection? Take, for example, the taxes people pay for their property. Through satellite imagery, we could really find every property, dimension, size, shape, calculate the taxes, and really predict who has paid, who has not paid, and do all kinds of interesting things to optimize revenues for the government. Again, you need change in mindset. All our systems that we use today were designed 50, 70 years ago. Some of those processes are designed by British Raj. Our bureaucracy has further complicated it, and now we are computerizing it. It's pretty scary sometimes. So if we really want to use big data analytics and all of these things that we are talking about today, process re-engineering and reforms are going to be the key. Without proper process re-engineering and reforms of the right kind, these tools will not give us the kind of benefits we need. So technology people, no matter how good of an algorithm they come up with, we'll have to focus on reforms. We'll have to drive change in the policy. If that doesn't happen, no amount of technology is going to give us the advantage that we need. Classical example is courts. I know we can computerize all our 32 million court cases. I know through big data and analytics, we can tell you of these, there are so many property cases, so many family fights, so many land problems. And this is the structure to make a decision on land problem. You almost can automate job of the judge, where a judge can then get the final report, spend 5 minutes and not 5 hours in fine-tuning it, and can give judgment, as opposed to taking every case and spending hours and hours. Some of these court cases have 5,000 pages of documentation. It's humanly not possible to read that. And that's why you need natural language understanding, where you can summarize all of it in 10 lines automatically and not have human interactions. I see huge opportunities, not only for new businesses, but also for improved citizen services, improved governance, using a lot of this new technology. So many innovations are possible in each and every field, not just financial services, education. I mean, how our exams are conducted, how results are declared. All of these things require the new tools that we are talking about. In India, health would be a huge winner if we are to harness big data and all of the new technologies. TB is an example. We know the spread of TB. Do we really have good data? There is no way we can collect manual data and analyze it. Data on immunization. I mean, it's just mind-boggling when you look at the kind of things we could do. I'm afraid that a lot of these good ideas won't really give us benefit unless and until our governments begin to understand and not give lip service and false promises, but really get professional talent in there who understand, work with domain experts to really address these complex problems. Western world is tuned into harnessing data. I was in China about a year ago, went to Alibaba's headquarters, and I must tell you, the pace with which they are moving in some of these areas is remarkable. They are investing huge amount of talent and investments in harnessing data and using it for intelligent decision making. I know we have the talent. I know we have the human resource, but I don't think we have the will, political will, and support to really use this technology to expedite the process of modernization. I can go on and tell you that the internet that gives you rich and richness really can be harnessed only through analytics. In the last 20 years, we have extended richness and reach. On one hand, we have created lots of millionaires and billionaires. On the other hand, we have also lifted some people out of poverty and created more wealth. For example, in China, they've been able to lift 700 million people out of poverty. We have a long way to go in using a lot of these new tools for the people at the bottom of the economic pyramid. We are still focused on top of the pyramid when it comes to new tools and new technology. So I hope today you all have an opportunity to discuss some of these issues. I've seen the program, it's pretty impressive. You have some very good panel discussions, great moderators, very talented people in the panel. I've looked at their background. And I must say, I'm proud of the fact that we do have very talented people. We are solving problems of the rich. We have been solving problems of the West in software for quite some time. I'm afraid that we would also wind up solving problems of the West in this area faster than our own. And that's my concern. I've seen that in India, people don't want to pay for analytics. They would pay 5 lakhs for a project where you can get 10 times more money abroad. Then naturally, Indian entrepreneur would say, why would I sweat in India? I would sell my talent to somebody outside. And I think that's where we have to sensitize people, that they must learn to pay and not have a short-term view of these tools, but have a long-term view of the tools. In the banking business, we had, and in insurance business, large number of back office workers. A lot of that business is dying through automation, through again, chatbots and all. And we'll have to create new opportunities for our people. Because what made sense 10 years ago don't make sense anymore. So a lot of call centers are going to close and close faster than we think. And they are already closing. So robotics is going to play an important role in manufacturing, and big data analytics and all of the things we are talking about today is going to play a huge role in service business. Whether it is booking a hotel, buying airline ticket, ordering something, all of these things will be automated through the new tools. And I believe this is a challenge for India. If we don't focus on it, we'll be left behind. We lucked out in software because of Y2K, because we could build on top of it. But now that advantage is not going to be there. Then China was really not a competition. Now China is going to be a huge competition in this field for India. And I think we deserve a lot more attention, a lot more broader conversation, not just with professionals like us, but also with lawmakers, political parties, judiciary, security, defense, and all of these people to really sensitize them to the opportunity coming out of analytics. So I am so happy that you have selected analytics in market at this conference as your subject. I don't want to take too much of your time. I am deeply involved in it in the US, mainly out of curiosity, out of my own personal interest. I want to learn more about it, not that I know enough about it, but I am sensitized. I am concerned about this, and I hope I can convey my concerns to leaders like you all. You can then take this message to your constituency, your colleagues, and sensitize them further as to the opportunity and threat. Once again, I want to wish you a great conversation, discussion, and dialogue today, and hope we get connected again. I look forward to your deliberations. I hope I'll get some summary at the end. And if I can be of any help to any of you, I'm more than happy to be available. Finally, thank you and really appreciate your listening to me.